Alright, let's do a little product review. This is the trap that we caught the coyote in today. It's not the actual trap, but it is the same brand and model. This is a Bridger number 3 fully modified. There's been a lot of talk about, oh, the Bridger's the best, or the Minnesota brands, the MB550s are the best, or the whatever. But I will show you a couple things that I think if you have any question about being a better trap, this will help you out. Let's start out with the dog. So the dog on the MB, this is the MB550. You can kind of see it's a little bit smaller than the Bridger number 3. Not by much, but this is my absolute favorite trap to use. The only reason being it's still my favorite is because I haven't tried the 650s. I've got to mess with some of the 650s, and I really like the idea of not having an off jaw or a loose jaw. When you get that pan set, it is rock solid. But for right now, we're going to do the 550s. So we'll start with the dog. Like I said, this dog is actually I want to say an eighth inch or maybe a little bit bigger rod that they have formed and pressed into being your dog. It is night latched. You can kind of see there at the very tip of it, it is night latched minus the wax. So this trap does come night latched from Minnesota brand. The pan tension is about 3 pounds, maybe a little over 3 pounds for straight out of the box. These are RCs, so they're cast jaws. That's a very well built trap. You've got, it comes with your 2 swivels on it. 4 coil. I mean, it is a stout trap. So let's go over the Bridger number 3. So here's the dog. That is basically just a pressed piece of steel. It is super flimsy, I guess, compared to the dog of the MB550. I constantly have to mess with these dogs on the Bridger number 3s. A lot of guys will say, well, why don't you go dogless? Well, same reason why I haven't with a 650. I like these 550s so much that I'm kind of apprehensive on to trying anything else, but I'm sure that there's pros and cons to that too. The other thing from the factory, Bridger's pan tension is light. You have to adjust it and get it set to where you want it, which I've got these set to about 2 pounds so I can actually catch fox and everything else. I have since tightened them up to about 3 pounds too, because I want a full commit of the paw whenever I do get one caught. It is 4 coiled, like I said, fully modified. I do like having the ability to bed this trap a little bit deeper. The only thing I don't like is the off jaw. With it being so big, it is really hard to get. So the off jaw, it is really flimsy with it being a little bit bigger than the MB550, so it takes a little extra time to get it bedded nice and solid. Most of the times I like to get in and get out as quick as I can, leave as little scent as possible at the sets. But I have noticed that the MBs bed a lot easier from my experience in the field. Other than that, that is my 2 biggest complaints, being the dog and the number 3 Bridger being kind of a pain to bed. Those are my only complaints. The chain on the Bridger is a little bit longer than the MB550, which honestly I like a really tight small trap circle. I don't like a big gaudy one. I like to have that animal stuck and hung pretty close to where my trap is anchored in the ground. The pans, you can kind of tell a little bit of a difference in the pans if I can get my fat fingers out of the way. The MB 550's pan is maybe a little bit wider, but I feel it's a little shorter than the Bridger, but they're both pretty similar, I guess, in size. So yeah, my favorite is this MB 550. Yes, I still run the number 3 Bridgers, only because I can't stand seeing 24 traps sit in the barn and collect dust. But I will say that the 550 is my favorite. So there's a little product review for you. One other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, and I actually just got done filling out a review on Minnesota Trapline products. The bait that I have been using is Caven's Predator Bait Plus, and I am telling you, ever since I've used it, I have caught way more coyotes with it. I was using Carmen's, I was using all kinds of stuff. I mean, whatever. And since I switched to Caven's Predator Bait Plus, it has been lights out. I mean, catching percentages have shot up a bunch. Even remakes on my stuff. Last year I caught 8 coyotes out of one set before it was completely and utterly destroyed, and that's the most I've ever caught out of one set. So if you guys are ever looking for a great bait, try out Caven's Predator Bait Plus.